I would like to give a warm welcome to everybody here, to the audience, to the three men at the table, and to the press. It's a strange night, I have to say, for the Bali. Today we heard that an ex-director of the Bali died, and we're sad about that. I just want to remember that for a second. Anil Ramdas died yesterday, and he was the director of the Bali for several years. Then there's the prince who's fighting for his life, and then we're here in the middle of a media storm. So I just wanted to remember that it's a strange day for us. It has been a hotly debated debate, this debate. I'm very happy that the three of you agreed to join in with the Bali. We said that we thought it was important to discuss things with each other, to discuss the position of Islam in the West, to discuss the commotion about your coming to the country, and we said, and we're very happy that you agreed to talk to us, and in a setting like this with all the press present. You had a long day, so a warm welcome, I would say, to Mr. Al Haddad. Let me start out, and then I come to the table, and later on we have about an hour to discuss with everybody. Let me start out maybe with one question, Mr. Al Haddad. Did you understand the commotion in this country about your coming to this country? Yeah.
So sorry, I mentioned this number of times that I did not mean to offend anyone. I do apologize if I offend anyone. I have a good experience with Holland, very positive experience. The first time I visited Holland, it was in 1994, and my background is computer engineering as well as quality management, and I took some courses in computer engineering. And I had very, very positive idea at that time. And as I said, in numerous occasions, that visit to Holland helped me to take my decision to move to the West, and in fact helped me to maybe have a better understanding of the West.
Mm-hmm. So the commotion in Parliament, because a majority in Parliament asked the minister not to let you enter the country. You say these parliamentarians, they have strange ideas, or?
No, this for me is a shock, because members of parliaments, they should investigate the matter before they come up with a conclusion. This is one thing. The other thing, I think they have more important things to debate, to discuss, rather than a visit of a single person to the country who has visited the country a number of times. I visited the Netherlands a number of times. I spoke in different occasions, in different conferences, and it went fine. I had a very positive experience, except my experience with KLM, because one time I lost my bag. Anyway, media will put this tomorrow in the press, and they will say he is anti-KLM. Yeah? But this is what happened. Otherwise, I don't know what is the reason for this. So I would like to appeal to those MPs just to listen to this kind of discussion. And that's why my presence here is a proof that I'm open for discussions, debates, for academic discussion, for us to coexist peacefully with each other and to discuss the way forward. We have fundamental differences, yes, but what is the way forward? Islam became part of the landscape of Europe. We cannot ignore Islam. Also, let me get into the heart of the debate. Non-Muslims, they cannot dictate what Islam is. Yeah? So we need to see how we can coexist peacefully for the betterment of our societies in Europe.
We come back to a lot of things you say. You just said. I just want to ask Tofik Dibi and Kustaw Bessems. Maybe first, Kustaw Bessems, you said that you thought it was important to allow Mr. Al Haddad into the country. Majority in Parliament doesn't agree with you. Why is it important?
Well, I mean, let me be quite clear about this. Beforehand, it wouldn't have been my particular idea of a good time to invite Mr. Al Haddad anywhere or to have him invited anywhere. It was only after that parliamentary majority decided they tried to interfere and tried to stop him from entering the country. And the university, the Free University, that gave in to the political pressure and decided to cancel the event where he was going to speak, that I thought it would be a matter of principle to at least find some place or some kind of venue where he would be able to speak his mind. And I think the fact that he can be here and he's not censored beforehand, even though he has some views that I find despicable, and I do find that, is a proof of what an open and free society is. And it's also a great illustration, I think, of the difference between our open and free society and, for instance, the kind of society that Mr. Al Haddad propagates. Because it doesn't work the same way the other way around. If Mr. Al Haddad had his way, many of us here in this room would only have the choice between shutting up or facing brutal consequences. At the moment, for instance, in Saudi Arabia, where he had his religious training, a journalist might actually face an execution for some mildly critical tweets about the Prophet. So I think it's very logical to, on the one hand, yes, we want everyone to be able to speak their mind without being censored beforehand. And on the other hand, also counter the ideas of Mr. Al Haddad and people that think like him.
Mr. Dibi, to come to you, you were here when Irsad Manji and you spoke about Islam, and you were brutally interrupted by a bunch of people who didn't agree with you. We asked you back in this debate also because you did a brave standing there. Would you agree that it's a bit with those former two speakers that it's none of the business of Parliament to keep Mr. Al Haddad out, or do you view it differently?
No, I agree with both Mr. Bessems and yourself and a lot of people I think that are here today that we cannot censor somebody beforehand. We don't know what Mr. Al Haddad wanted to say when he came to the FU, when he wanted to come to the FU. And freedom of speech is something important, but more importantly, maybe next to the freedom of speech is that a lot of things that Mr. Al Haddad says that I do not agree with, a lot of young Muslims are thinking about those things. How should I act as a female in a Western society? Mr. Al Haddad did not want a female to sit with him today at a table in a television program. Well, those kinds of issues, a lot of young Muslims on the internet surfing around are asking themselves how they can be a good Muslim and adopt like a modern lifestyle in a country like the Netherlands. And Mr. Al Haddad, but a lot of people like Mr. Al Haddad have a lot of influence on the development of these young Muslims. So I think it's important to ask Mr. Al Haddad how he feels about young Muslims that live in a country like the Netherlands. And maybe the first question I wanted to ask him is, do you feel like you represent you just said in your when you started you are just one single person. Are you one single person, or do you feel like you speak according to on behalf of all Muslims? That's maybe the first question. And my second question is, do you feel like Muslims are at war? That there is something going on in society that we have to be at war with Jews or Christians or whoever?
Yeah, okay. Thank you for your being frank with me. First of all, regarding how do I feel about, do I represent all Muslims? Of course not. But I do represent Islam, because Islam can be represented easily if we follow the three main sources of Islam, which is the Quran, which is the word of God, the prophetic traditions, and the consensus of all Muslim scholars from the past. So if you say, for example, we as Muslims have to fast the month of Ramadan, then I'm speaking and representing Islam, because no one say, no, we as Muslims, we cannot fast in the month of Ramadan. Yeah, I think you agree with me as a Muslim.
I agree.
Yeah. However, there are some ijtihadi issues, some flexible issues. I'm not claiming that I am representing Islam, because there is no single view that represent those ijtihadi matters. However, the vast majority of Islam is straightforward, clear, and it can be taken easily from the three sources. So this is with regards to the first question.
One short question. What if a Muslim, because we know they exist, I think in England as well as in the Netherlands, they consider themselves Muslim, but they do not fast. You see them sometimes, they don't like to say it out loud, but they do not fast. But they do consider themselves Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
Would you consider them Muslim? Or would you say, would you judge them as infidels?
See, we have to be clear about this. The one who does not fast, yeah, either he is coming for an advice and say, well, I am a Muslim, but I don't fast. So what do you advise me? Of course, I will say to him, okay, as a Muslim, you must fast. If he says, I am a Muslim and I don't want to fast, then I will say, you are not meeting the criteria of Islam. It is up to you. I'm not the one.
Between you and Allah.
It is between you and Allah. That is true. But it is my responsibility as an imam and as a scholar to tell him about, or to inform him about, the Islamic guidelines and principles. So then whether he follows that or he does not follow that, it is up to him.
But is a scholar superior to a normal Muslim? Do you consider a scholar to have more right to speak about Islam than young students or me, maybe?
Yeah, of course. Of course. Do you have a doubt about that? Do you think?
I don't understand.
I think Mr. Dibi has a real doubt about that, yes.
Okay.
No, because
See,
you got the question today, do you allow yourself to doubt? Do you allow yourself to think, maybe this is not what I'm preaching, maybe it's not the way a
maybe
Muslim
it
should
is
live?
does
Do you
not
allow
represent
yourself
Islam.
to doubt?
And as I told you, there are certain things in Islam that are clear. No one can doubt them.
Yeah.
And when you tell me that whether the scholar is more qualified to speak about Islam than a normal Muslim, I said yes.
No, not more qualified. You have studied much more about Islam than, for example, myself. But do you have more right to speak about Islam? Do you have the right to say what is good and what is bad?
Right. Do I have more right? This is belonging to the qualification. For example, if I am qualified as a doctor, yeah? Am I qualified to say that this particular thing is bad for health or not?
Of course.
That's the answer.
No, that's...
So if I know...
No.
So, okay, by the way, don't take it personal.
No, of course not. No, I like this. I like the debate.
Okay.
No, but
So what
let
I'm
me...
saying-
So Tofik Dibi, what do you want to say?
What I wanted to say was, when you said today to the woman that did not wear hijab, that you did not want to sit with her at the table, I think a lot of girls, young Muslim girls that watched that, they
were offended.
Maybe offended, but also felt that did not wear a headscarf, maybe felt a bad Muslim, because you said that. And do you accept the fact that a female Muslim can consider herself fully Muslim and not live the way you think she should live?
Okay. First of all, I clarified my position. Yeah, I said, here in the West, we are facing so many problems. We have the economical recession, and that's why I want...
No, but that's a decoy. It's like you don't want to answer the question.
No. I will answer it. Don't worry.
Okay.
But I want the MPs to discuss more serious issues.
Yeah.
Okay? Such as the recession, the credit crunch, the gun crime, the crimes in the society, drugs, etc., etc. Yeah? So we have all these problems. And it has been proven that women play a major role in the stability of the society throughout the family. The family values are the core values for a stable society. Now, once we talk about family values, I advocate this openly. I say the best role for women to play is to be good mothers, supporting the family and supporting the society through this. We are suffering, and there are statistics about this, we are suffering from women who are abandoning their children, or women are following media because
are we getting to the point where it helps society that you send women away from the table?
Just a minute, please. Let me just complete my point, yeah? Okay?
Well,
otherwise
point is the key word there, I think.
Yeah, okay. So, if I am promoting this role for women, yeah, it will be hypocritical for me to accept roles that I advocate the opposite of it.
And now the question of
so that was
Mr. Haddad, now the question
that was the explanation of my point.
Of Mr. Bessems, are we getting to the point where it's better for society to not allow women on the table?
No, no, no. It's not like this.
But
okay?
why don't you allow women on the table?
As I said, that I speak to women a lot. In fact, as I said before, and I want media to put this, by the way, media, be careful, don't cut and paste. You have to be honest with yourselves. Yeah?
No, but
yeah.
I didn't
let me put this.
I didn't know that you were objecting to women on the table. Otherwise, I saw it on TV just this afternoon. Otherwise, I would have put probably a woman on the table. Because why would you object to it?
Yeah, because it goes against what I advocate. I advocate that women should play a major role in the society, not should be after media. And now we started with women presenting programs, then women became after celebrity, okay? That is their business, but this is not what this is not what I advocate.
So would you say that women and men have not the same rights? Excuse me, but
no,
would you say that they don't have the same rights?
They have, see, from an Islamic perspective, they have differences and they have...
Of course, men and women have differences, but have they do the same rights?
Yeah, and they have similar rights, they have equal rights in certain angles. From other perspectives, they have different rights. For example...
So they have different rights?
Yes, and from other angles. I'll give you an example. The mother, from an Islamic perspective, has 3 more rights over the father. So from this angle, I will not put the mother in the same position as the father. She has more rights over the father. So why don't we look at this angle? We always look, or many women in the West, they feel inferior to men. And they think that any differentiation in rights, it means that they are less than men. However, they might be superior to men from that angle.
Mr. Bessems?
Well, Mr. Al Haddad, you're pretending like this is only about your personal choice, about how you choose to live your life. But the difference is you impose it on others. You use all the freedoms that this society has to live your life the way you want to. You enjoy that luxury of freedom. But today you didn't just demonstrate something about your personal choice, you tried to impose it on others. You demanded that someone else who chooses to live their life in a very different way to leave the table. That's not just being consistent in your own choice, that's imposing it on others and not being able to deal with freedom.
I was invited and I said, this is my choice, okay? I was invited and I said, I don't like fizzy drinks because for whatever reason.
You don't like fizzy drinks and you don't like women at the table.
No, see, you don't need to put words on my mouth, yeah? This is not a good way of speaking to the one who disagrees with you. So I said, will you host me with this condition or not?
You have fans.
Will you accept me with this condition or not? And you said, yes. I did not impose my opinion to you. I did not tell you, see, I am coming and I am forcing you to give me maybe tea and not fizzy drinks. You said, okay, come to me come to me, and I said, okay, don't put fizzy drinks. You said, okay, fine with me. So I came. So if I come, then you say, well, you dictated your opinion on me. This is not right.
But what would you think would happen if you allowed her to sit? What do you think is the problem that is being caused if she would sit at the table and speak to you?
I just explained it to you.
Because she will take the role of the man and you don't want her to take...
I just explained to you that this goes against what I advocate, and this goes against my own, against what I advocate, and it looks hypocritic, okay, if I advocate something and I do the opposite. So yes. I think you should appreciate that I am a principled person, and I did not enforce this upon anyone. No, they invited me, and I said, this is my condition.
No.
Would you say that if you, because you say I'm not imposing it, in a lot of countries it is imposed. A lot of Islamic countries it is imposed. People who don't want that, who want to leave that, I mean, of course that is oppression, wouldn't you agree? In a country where you, as a woman, are obliged to wear this or that,
not
that's
allowed
oppression.
To drive. In Saudi Arabia, a woman is not allowed to drive. It's imposed by
or
the
in Iran,
state.
She should wear a headscarf. So you don't have the choice. In my opinion, that would be called oppression.
Why did you consider it like this? First of all, I'm not supporting Saudi Arabia. I'm not supporting
No,
Iran. Okay?
I'm just wondering, this discussion we had it on the, you said I'm not imposing it, because I'm just asking for it, and you agree with it. So, but in other countries it is imposed, and if it is imposed, would you say it's wrong?
We need to look at it from the bigger picture, because, see, imposing things on the subjects of any country, I think this is part of the law. It depends on what they are imposing. In England, for example, there are many things that are imposed on us.
Driving on the left side is imposed, yes. Yeah.
For example, you cannot park your car anywhere. No one can say this is oppression.
But
so there is a set of laws that have to be followed.
That is right, but would you say, in that respect, would you say that imposing somebody to wear a headscarf is not oppression? Would you? I would call it oppression. Maybe you don't, but I would call that oppression.
So it depends. It depends. Okay, just
wait a moment, Tofik. I'm very interested in the answer. But
it is not an attack. No, it is a fair discussion. We need to look at the bigger picture. We cannot just take it in isolation of everything. And that's why, as I told you, when I came to the Netherlands in 1994, I saw many things as they are in the West. However, our perception in the Middle East about many things that are imposed by the West on their subjects were oppression. No. But once we understood the full picture, it was fine for me.
But I'm still not clear about the answer. I mean, I can see that you see some things different now that you live here, but you wouldn't call obliging women to wear headscarves oppression. You wouldn't object to that.
You cannot isolate it from the rest of the discussion. So as I told you, this is in a simple word that we need to look at the bigger picture, and we need to evaluate each situation by its own merit.
But aren't you doing the same if you say a woman has to wear the niqab or
so
whatever?
All of this discussion is just only about that incident that took place today?
No, of course not.
It's an elaboration. It's an elaboration.
We got a list from a Jewish organization of things you allegedly said, but I don't think it's fair to confront you with things that you allegedly said and ask you, did you say it or not? What we saw today is something we can debate about because we all saw it with our own eyes. But isn't a burqa ban? In the Netherlands, they might ban the burqa. Isn't that exactly the same as imposing a woman to wear a burqa or a hijab or?
No, it is not the same.
Because I think you oppose a ban on the burqa.
See,
do you oppose a ban on the burqa?
Impose it?
No, do you oppose?
Oppose,
Are you
yeah,
against a ban on the burqa?
Of course. I oppose the ban of the burqa. And here in the Netherlands, what's the name of that order?
What's the difference with imposing
Exactly.
a burqa? The question of Mr. Dibi is, if you oppose a ban on, if you're against a ban on the burqa, what's the difference with, then why aren't you against opposing, I mean, making all women wear the burqa?
No, I wouldn't say all women have to wear the burqa in the West. I haven't said this. Okay, who said this?
No,
yeah?
but
So that's what, see, this is an example that it depends on the context and in the situation. Why aren't you accepting this? Why aren't you accepting the fact that each discussion has to be contextualized?
That's too easy. You feel like all the Muslim women in the West have to wear hijab, right? Or else it's
yeah.
not according to, or
Yeah.
else they don't live according to Islam.
No, they are not living according to Islam. They are not practicing this Islamic practice.
But
can I ask you a question, Mr.
So
Bessems?
yeah. So what is your point?
that it's exactly the mirror of what they want to do in the Netherlands by banning it. It's exactly the same as you by trying to force it.
Forcing what? You keep putting words into
No,
my
no,
mouth.
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, when did I say that I want to force?
If
I say, I told you before, that if a woman comes to me and says to me, well, I am a Muslim, do I have to wear hijab according to Islam? I would say, yes, you have to wear hijab according to Islam. She said, I don't want.
Can I ask you?
say, it is up to you. You bear the consequences. I'm not bearing the consequences.
Can I ask you a question, Mr. Bessems? Do you believe in God?
Hardly.
Hardly. I mean, 80% of people in the world do believe in God, approximately. Do you ever think that maybe you're wrong with hardly believing in God?
I don't think about that much, but if I did, I could think I was wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Mr. Al Haddad, can I ask you a question? Do you believe in God?
Of course, yes.
Do you think that Islam is the real truth?
Yeah, of course, yes.
Do you think that there are other possibilities of the truth?
No.
No? Outside Islam there's no truth?
No.
Is there a possibility of truth outside Islam?
Outside the main principles of Islam, no.
No. 80% of the population of the world is not believing in Islam. Do you ever doubt yourself, but maybe I'm wrong? I'm just one of the 20%, maybe I'm wrong?
No.
Never?
Never.
No. No. Could you understand that a lot of people would be very afraid of this kind of thinking? Could you understand that?
I can understand that some people might be skeptical, not might be afraid, because at the end of the day, there is something called truth. There is something called right and wrong. Everyone agrees, for example, yeah, that lying, cheating, killing someone, murders, stealing is bad. Do you doubt this?
Well, that's another thing. That doesn't mean that you have all the truth, because that's what I'm. You believe that you have all the truth, isn't that right?
Okay. Okay. Again, see, you escaped from the answer. Do you believe that at least there is something called the ultimate truth, at least in certain things?
No, actually, if you ask me personally, I don't think so. But that's
so. For example, stealing
sometimes
can be good.
Yes, stealing can be good.
Okay, this is fantastic.
Sometimes there are circumstances where it can be good. Sure.
Where you can.
So if you save somebody's life by stealing, it can be good, of course.
Okay.
So there are circumstances where it can be good. So I don't think there's an absolute.
No. So there is a difference between the theory and practicing it.
Well,
from a theoretic perspective.
Actually, I think if the practice points out that the theory is wrong, the theory might be wrong. But
no, that is not true.
But
if this is water, this is water. I cannot doubt that. Oh, this might be oil. Yeah, this is water. If it is water, it is water. It can be oil if we change the ingredients, yes.
But to come back to the question of the truth, Islam is the real truth, you say. Should all people in the world be believers of the Islam in the end?
It depends on how you look at it. Do I wish this internally? I believe Islam is the light. And I wish everyone to share with me this light.
Yes.
What's wrong with this? For everyone.
Let's see whether this works. Yeah, it works. Yeah, it does. Yes. Eva Umar.
I'm feeling extremely frustrated that at the table there's sitting 4 men discussing women's rights, discussing my rights, talking about me. What gives you the right to be superior to me? What gives you the right to refuse me on that table? I would really like to know that.
Why do you feel inferior to me?
I don't feel inferior to you.
You just said
no,
that.
I feel frustrated that you are there discussing my rights and you think it's right that you talk about my rights without even asking how I feel about my rights.
Well, now the whole world is becoming a small village. Everyone is discussing the rights of others. Many women have discussed our rights. So,
but you're a man talking about women's rights while you're just a man.
Amazed.
You're a human being just like I am. What makes you more superior to me?
I'm really amazed the way you think. You should be confident of yourself.
I am confident.
I haven't said.
Why are you not?
I haven't said that.
No, why are you not confident of yourself? And why don't you allow me to talk to you at that table with you? You are not confident.
Have I
am.
said that I am superior to you?
Have you
said this?
Why can I not talk there?
Well, see, you.
Good evening. Maybe you would like to answer the question now.
What is your question? Sorry.
My question is...
Because you were just frustrated. You did not have any question. What was your frustration about?
My question is why you think you're superior to me, and not only to me, but to other women. How come? Who gives you the right? Where do you get the right to discuss women's right and not asking them what they're... Even discussing that women have different rights than men.
So you keep repeating this, and I told you a number of times that I haven't, where I said that I'm superior to you.
No, but Mr. Al Haddad,
you left the table.
So first of all,
when you were confronted with things that you've said, it turns out you've never really said anything, because you phrase it slightly differently. What you say, no, maybe this time I can finish. What you say, you don't say women are inferior. You say women have different rights from different angles.
Yeah.
That's how you call it.
Yes.
The consequence, in your view, if you would have your way, if Sharia would be implemented the way you want it, the consequence would be that women are inferior.
No.
And you walk away from every single statement that you make.
No.
You left the table this afternoon.
Let him answer, of course.
No. Let me answer. I said, in Islam, in certain circumstances, women have 3 more rights than men. Why don't you consider this? Am I escaping the answer? I said clearly
we don't want
women,
more rights. We want the same rights.
That there are certain aspects where women have more rights than men. Because there are differences between men and women.
Tell me about them.
About the differences?
Tell me about the differences.
This is one clear difference that you got frustrated very quickly.
I wanted to ask you, but we got this whole list of things you said, and a few things that need to be addressed is that you are pro-stoning of women. And you are pro... No, I don't know if it's true. I'm just asking you.
Yeah.
I don't want to put words in your mouth. And that you think that female circumcision is acceptable. Those are things that maybe you can have, because a lot of people are thinking that you said that.
Yeah.
Is that something that's allowed within Islam? Do you think that we can stone women and we can that you should circumcise little girls?
Okay. Now, again, for media, please put the full answer. Now, in terms of this kind of punishment, it is applied for women and men. I haven't said that this kind of punishment should be applied on women only. But because, unfortunately, because of the inferiority, some women, they think that anything we say is against them. Okay? While we
So you say it's for men and women?
Yes.
Stoning.
Yeah. If the crime is committed by a man, he should be
stoned.
Okay, stoned to death once the circumstances and conditions are met.
But Mr. Al Haddad, you can't be serious. You can't be, but you can't be serious. You're saying, I mean, you're saying that men and women can be stoned?
Yeah, this is the Islamic punishment, yeah?
But
In
we're living in the
certain
West.
once the conditions are met, yes.
Once the conditions are met, but that's very, very cruel.
Okay, I'll ask everyone a question. What about if this is the choice of the person himself?
No one wants to be stoned. No one wants to be killed.
You don't want to be stoned. You don't want to wear hijab. You don't want to become...
Do you want to be stoned? Do you want to wear the hijab?
Listen,
Do you want to be stoned?
See, this
Do
is
you
not...
want to wear the hijab? Answer me. Just answer me.
Will you allow me to answer?
I'm waiting. Do you want to be stoned?
Okay. Will you allow me to answer?
I'm waiting.
Okay, so can you please keep quiet until I answer?
Of course.
Yeah? If I committed the crime, if I committed adultery, I like to be stoned. And I can confirm to you. Yeah? And you can put this, I am saying it openly. If I committed adultery, I would request to be stoned. And I can confirm. I can confirm to you. Let me answer.
I'm waiting.
I can confirm to you that I received so many requests from Western women who committed adultery, and they were begging me if they can find a way to a Muslim country to be stoned to death. This is
and they're in a psychiatric hospital?
This is their request. So if that, I'm asking you, if that was her choice, according to your values, which is freedom of choice, according to your values, what's wrong with that?
I would send them to a doctor.
Okay, you send them to 10 doctors, and still they are insisting on this. See, they go against even your values. You are contradicting yourself.
I have somebody else from the audience who wants to come in. Your name?
My name is Damon Golries. Thank you for coming here. There are some people who think you are really a charlatan. I think you're also brave, too. I've listened to you during your visit in Holland, and I've read the Quran, and I can tell you, according to the Quran, according also to your words, and you're not saying it in Beirut, or in Kabul, or in Riyadh, or in Tehran, but you're saying it in London, in the Al-Islamia Mosque in London, that the punishment for the apostate, the punishment for who leaves the Islam is capital punishment. That the blood of those people, like me, because that blood is halal. I am your enemy because of three things. I have left Islam, my blood is halal. I'm an Iranian, I'm not Arab.
Okay.
No.
What are you talking about, man?
And your statement is, or your question is?
No, okay. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. My question is very simple. What do you think about me?
Okay, that's a very clear question. You left Islam, and what do you think? What do you think about it?
I said that apostasy, okay, deserves, once the conditions are met, deserves capital punishment in an Islamic state. And I can say this openly. I'm not here to hide it, okay? This in every single legal system, there is a capital punishment. Do you agree or not? No. And see, in Britain, in many, just a minute, please.
One moment.
Let me just,
I can get back to you.
In Britain, in many Western countries, in America, there is a capital punishment for treason. In Britain, I'm from Britain.
We don't have capital punishment in Holland.
Okay, maybe. But in Britain, as well as many European countries, there is something called the treason, and the punishment for treason is a capital punishment. In Britain, we have something called shoot to kill. Even if you suspect that the person is a threat, you will kill him.
So Mr. Al Haddad,
there is killing.
Just to get it,
but
just to get it clear,
that sometimes killing is justified.
Well, I said robbing, sometimes stealing, but there's a difference. But maybe sometimes killing is justified. I don't know. But you say killing is justified for leaving the truth, Islam. Yeah. Are you allowed to convert a Christian to Islam?
Convert him? No. Okay, of course. How do you convert?
Can a Christian become a Muslim?
He can become a Muslim if he is not following true Christianity. He is a Muslim.
Okay, that's I can see what you mean, but you let me read.
May I request something?
Yeah, sure.
I don't want.
Sure.
Okay.
Could you be quiet, please?
Yeah, please. Yeah. No, I don't want insult. We are here to discuss and debate.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
No personal insult, and most importantly, please, no insult for my religion. Okay. No insult for God, yeah? No insult for my prophet. Otherwise, I cannot stay, because this is an insult for my religion, and I cannot tolerate this. Yes, I say, okay, he doesn't believe in my religion, it is up to him. But he is not insulting me, insulting my religion. This is, I think, the basics for maybe fruitful discussion. Otherwise, it will be just
we're trying to have a fruitful discussion. I entirely agree.
So if I may request the lady,
don't scream, and don't scream, and you're not allowed to have the word. I'm sorry, Mr. Dibi.
I really wanted. Well, I really wanted to ask you one question that I want to ask almost every day. Is this the face of Islam? Stoning, capital punishment of ex-Muslims, female circumcision. Not long ago, an imam in Morocco asked me, where are the joyful Muslims? Where are the Muslims that show what they can contribute to society and what makes their religion so beautiful? And the only thing we are speaking about, and the only thing that's been surrounding your visit to Holland, is death. And is like, is that what you think we should?
This is a very excellent point. You should not ask me this question. You should ask yourself this question.
No.
Because I came here to speak about, for example, one of the things that I was expecting to be asked about Islamic finance, and how can Islamic finance contribute towards the recession that we are going through. But all of your points were about these things. So I have to respond. This is media. How media? Is this fair? How to just to focus on one single thing?
Well, there's a very easy solution to that. If you would distance yourself from the violation of the most basic human rights, which is punishing people, for instance, for what they think, which is the oppression of women, which is Jew hatred. I mean, you've denied making those statements about Jews, but today certified translators have looked at your sermon about Jews, and you have in fact said that there is a war against Jews that is, independent of time and place. You do make those statements. So if you want people to ask you about Islamic finance, the easiest thing for you to do is to completely distance yourself from horrendous statements like that.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But I spoke about many other things. Why did you focus on these things and you took them out of context?
Because as long as people get killed for what they think, I don't really care about your Islamic finance.
Yeah, that's why you have to say the same thing. you have to say the same thing about the Western democracy. 1.5 million people were killed in Iraq because of democracy.
No.
And then you are telling me that there were some people killed because of this.
Well,
Okay, do you agree with me?
Yes.
well,
Do you agree with me that there were 1.5 million people killed in Iraq because of democracy? Do you agree with me that
No.
the dictatorship in Syria, the dictatorship in Egypt, the dictatorship in Tunisia were supported by number of Western regimes, and once they fell down, they abandoned them?
no, what I see is someone who every time he gets a hard question, whether it's about women, whether it's about people that leave Islam, whether it's about people that think differently, whether it's about any kind of painful issue, dodges that question and starts talking about someone else.
No, because you pointed about something, and I have to point the same thing
So that makes it,
about.
so that makes it right.
Are Muslims
That makes it right. The fact that people died in Iraq makes it right to kill people for what they think.
See, death is part of our life.
Well, when you
So
kill
we
people,
have
it
to,
is, yes.
Yeah, so killing is there. We need to talk about the reasons for killings, not just accuse someone of something outside the whole discussion, and then you say that, oh, well, see, you claim this.
Okay,
You have
so-
to have an open and academic discussion.
So explain then why it's a good reason to murder someone for not believing what you want them to believe. Explain that. Why is that good?
No, where is this? Where is this? Who said this?
You
Who
said it a few minutes ago.
No?
Well, I
So,
know you retract
so with-
statements from
no,
last
no.
year, but now
See,
you're
this is-
retracting them from a few minutes ago.
No, what we were saying, this is the problem of understanding, and this is the problem of putting words in the person's mouth. And this shows that you really don't want to understand the discussion. We were
You said
talking
a few
about...
minutes ago, in an Islamic society, people that leave Islam deserve capital punishment.
Yeah.
And unless, you know, I've been hallucinating for the last 10 minutes, those were your
Yeah,
words.
So this is different from saying someone who does not believe what you believe in. Okay, that is totally different. If you do not differentiate
happens to be
between
Islam, yes.
Yeah, if you do not differentiate between both, then there is a problem. There is a difference between someone who was not British and he was, for example, he was fighting against British troops, and a person who was British and then he committed an act of treason. Okay. There is a difference between someone who accepted Islam and then he retracted Islam.
Let me rephrase the question then.
Yeah.
Explain why it's a good thing in an Islamic society to have a capital punishment for someone who decides to leave Islam. Explain why that's good.
The same reason why we have capital punishment for treason.
But you can't be meaning that freedom of consciousness should not exist.
See, we have to say this is a problem. Islam is not just consciousness. Islam is a way of life. Islam...
Yes, sure, but if somebody deeply believes that he wants to leave it, why shouldn't he?
See, if someone strongly believes in Islam and he is living in a Muslim state, he wouldn't just leave Islam like this. Yeah? It means that his loyalty, his allegiance, his thought process, everything will change. Similar to treason.
Okay, but would you say that Mr. Goldrich, who left Islam, should die?
Islamic society, right?
We need a court to decide this. I cannot decide this.
You need a court to decide
Yeah,
it, but in principle, you would say you would bring him to court. You're on a Sharia court, so you could judge that because you're on a Sharia court.
Is it a court or is Allah the one who judges about life? Can another Muslim, whether it's in a court or outside of a court, judge on whether another Muslim is a good Muslim, or is that something that only Allah is allowed to do?
No, we judge people. How come?
No, but about life, if he has the right to continue to live.
This is the judgment of Allah.
No, because you cannot speak on behalf of Allah.
No, I can speak on behalf of Allah because He told me certain things. He told everyone certain things. This is Quran is the word of Allah, isn't it? Do you believe in Quran?
Yes, but people have studied
on
that
this
book
question,
for
on this particular question.
ages, and they are still thinking about what the meaning is of Quran.
No, that is not right.
Okay, Mr. Bessems, you have one question, then I have a question from the audience
I
again.
just mentioned it briefly, and I noticed that Mr. Al Haddad skips over it. Why have you denied your statement about Jews that was actually in your sermon? You've said something about it was translated wrong, but you have in fact spoken about a war against Jews that is independent of place and time.
No, that is, see, first of all, that sermon, if it is true, what I did not check it, okay, to be honest with you, because I don't have time, and I feel that, okay, it is silly thing just to spend your time in some baseless allegations. This is one thing. The other thing, there are things that can be said in an Arabic language, yeah, in certain cultures with certain audience that fit perfectly, and there are things, if you transfer those things to any other language, they look ridiculous. For your information, and I have said this number of times, one of my closest students is a Jew. Once I come back, I will go to visit another friend who is a Jew. Yeah? Also, see,
So
this
Mr.
is the
Haddad,
problem.
to
This
make
is
it
the
to-
problem. You don't want to accept anything. You
Just
have
to-
to,
just to be-
and I told you even
It's
one...
irrelevant.
No, but just
it's irrelevant
Mr.
who your
Bessems,
friends are.
Mr. Bessems, just to be very clear about it, Mr. Haddad, you say no, we don't have a war against the Jews. There's no such thing.
Yeah.
It's very easy, isn't it? You say no. I have friends who are Jews. There's no.
Yeah,
So
and I confirm that one of the very close companions of the Prophet was a Jew.
But my
so there's no.
but
So,
my-
so the question
how
is that.
come? How,
But
I
my
almost
question
went
is,
to war with
but my
Jews.
question is, do you believe that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, because that was the direct?
yes, this
let
is
me
the
finish.
point. Yes.
Let me finish.
Okay, go
that
on.
That was the direct reason for your sermon. You said that's not just a regional conflict between two groups. You said that's part of a larger war against Jews that is independent of place and time. Is that what you believe, or is it not?
No.
Okay.
Okay, but
Um,
let me just mention this point.
Yes.
I admit that there is a war between the Israelis and not, see, my auntie is an Israeli, by the way, by nationality. My auntie, my mother's sister, is an Israeli by nationality. Would you put this in media as well? Okay, so
That does
so
not mean
can I say that, oh, we have war against Israelis, I have war against my own auntie? No.
That does not mean anything. We have racists in Holland that say, I eat Chinese food, so I'm not racist.
No,
It's
okay.
not about who your friends are. It's about what
So
you...
the enemy is an enemy. Whoever is waging war against me, he is an enemy, of course. So the Israelis, yeah, those who are waging war against Palestinians and those who used weapons even prohibited internationally to kill Palestinians in Gaza, to massacre them, to shed the blood of them, of course they are our enemies. And I think you yourself, you disagree with those Israelis who've been killing the people in Gaza. Is it a fair war? Was it a fair war? Was it a fair killing of the Israelis against the Gazan people? Would you mind? Would you mind if I stand for the truth and I said that this is not a fair conflict? This conflict, even the Israelis are trying to lobby here. Of course, once I say the Israelis, I mean those who are waging war against us. Otherwise, some of them are maybe friends. I told you one of my
Mr.
aunties
Haddad, I think you made your point. I think you made your point because I think it's clear. I want to go to somebody there.
So
who already
let me say even more.
Yes.
Any good Jew,
Yeah.
any good Jew or any Jew from an ethnic perspective, we have nothing as Muslims. We have nothing nothing against any race or against any ethnicity.
Okay.
If I came across the being offensive against any race or against any ethnicity, then I say, I don't mean it. I apologize if I have offended Jews as ethnicity, white people as ethnicity, black people as ethnicity, any
just
kind
to be sure,
of people.
that sermon is false. It doesn't belong to you. The sermon with the
No,
statement does not belong to you.
I need to verify it, but as I told you, certain words in Arabic, yeah, they have to be taken within the context.
Yeah,
And to be clear, you say they are at war against Palestinians. Would you say Israel is at war against Islam? But you have a British passport, so they're not at war against you. Are they at war at Islam, or are they at war with Palestinians?
Some Israelis, yes, they are at war against Islam.
And you, as a British citizen, do you feel that they are at war with you?
Some Israelis, yeah, of course. Of course, that's
you're
why.
but you're a
that's
British
why
citizen.
there's. Yeah, that's why they are lobbying with the Zionist lobby to stop me from banning me from universities, to stop me from addressing myself, to create this stereotype against me, and so on.
Okay, that's
And this is what-
clear. Miss, I have a question here. Could you state your name, please?
Yes, I'm Ehsan Jami. Mr. Haddad, you take our Western liberty to say the most horrifying things about the Jews, about the apostates, and women, you name it. Okay, and is that that's a free speech, right? You agree with me that you have this liberty in this Western society, in this in the West? Agree with me, right?
To have a free speech.
Yes, you think that's a good thing, right?
Okay, yes, he does.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
So
The
why
point,
is it
please.
why is it then that you just stated here, and also here you just mentioned the most horrifying things, but you just stated here like, yeah, if they insult my religion, then or Prophet Muhammad or whatever, then I would walk, or I don't like it. So why is it that free speech doesn't go the same way here? Why can I say? Why is it so that I can't say that Islam is a retarded religion? Is that something that, why is it that I can't say that to you?
Okay.
Yeah, I think with all due respect, this is not an intellectual discussion, because if I say to you, if I insult your mom, well, if
You ask a question, let him finish. That's how it goes.
Yeah, if I insult your mom, yeah, and I don't like to use certain words, but if I say, I'm so sorry to use it, but if I say, if something, yeah, your mom, I think that is indecent. Everyone would say that this is indecent, and everyone will feel that is insult. Okay, I cannot claim that, oh, this is freedom of speech, let me just insult anyone. And see, even in the Western context, freedom of speech is limited. In certain countries, now in France, for example, if you deny the Armenian,
genocide,
yeah, Armenian genocide, although it is just freedom of conscience, freedom of beliefs, academic discussion, you will be prosecuted. This is a crime.
Just a second. That's a lot of nonsense what you just said. Let me just be clear on that. But the thing is, you just mentioned about the most horrifying things you just mentioned about Jews. That's insulting to Jews. You just mentioned about the women, they have to wear a headscarf or, whatever you just mentioned. That's insulting to some women. And I'm just saying, if that's the case, that insulting is insulting, why doesn't it go the same way around?
Okay,
why can't I
on.
just say that? Because that goes the same way.
What's it? Yeah. What?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I can't answer this question because I already answered it a number of times, and I said I do not insult. And even I say clearly, if I insult any race, yeah, if I offended any race because of their ethnicity, because of their beliefs, I do apologize. I did not mean it. But those who are waging war against me, those who are waging war and killing people in Palestine, even not in Palestine, in any part of the world, Of course, those people, we need a firm stance against them. So you are keep repeating the same point. I can't understand this. Let us have another.
Let me rephrase the question. In a different way, but were you appalled or dismayed by the fact that the Swiss country decided not to allow any more minarets to be built? Were you? And the Swiss said, we don't want any mosques, at least we don't want any signs of mosques. They decided that. Were you against that?
Yeah, of course.
So if you were against that, how come that it is not allowed to build a church in Saudi Arabia, for instance? Or are you against that as well?
See, now
that's a sort of same kind of question,
yeah,
but put it differently.
I agree. In Vatican, you are not allowed to have any religion other than Christianity. Okay?
Well,
you are not allowed to build any mosque.
Yeah, but
fair. That is the rule. We abide by that rule. And there are some religious places where you cannot have two religions. In Egypt, there are many churches. Okay? In many other Muslim countries, there are many churches. Saudi Arabia has its own religious status, and it is similar to Vatican.
And Pakistan? Similar to Vatican? Would you say that big parts of the Ummah are like the Vatican?
No, in Pakistan there are many churches.
But it's very difficult for them to be built. It's very difficult to maintain them.
I don't know about that, but there are many churches.
Yes. So just to be clear, you say like the Vatican, big parts of Islam are like the Vatican. That's what you say.
Yeah.
So,
you cannot have two. Even in Saudi Arabia, there are many Christians who live peacefully, and I have in Britain, not here, in Britain, one of my neighbors was a lady who lived in Saudi Arabia. Let me just finish my point. I had a neighbor a lady who lived in Saudi Arabia, and she said the best beautiful days for me when she was living in Saudi Arabia. And she said, I understand why they ban women from driving, why they are
I'm sure that there are people who understand, but,
yes.
but you're saying that it's a theocracy. I mean, I'm not very much in favor of theocracy. I'm not very much in favor of the state of the Vatican City. But you say, yes, I like theocracies. That's basically what you say.
I don't know about the word theocracy, but any religion has some certain sacred places that they have to be respected according to the guidelines of that religion.
Okay, Mr. Dibi.
There is a lot of research about the new generation of Muslims in Europe that shows that this new generation a lot of times wants to practice their religion in an individual way. And it's like secularization, you know, they don't want Sharia. They don't want a Muslim party in parliament. They dream of the same things that like non-Muslims dream about. How do you feel about that development of young Muslims saying, this is my faith and I do it on my own way, on my own terms, and whatever some scholar says in fatwas or whatever, I still choose my own way. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we fundamentally disagree with this. Okay, they have their own thoughts, and we have to discuss it, and this is the way forward. So what's wrong with that?
You fundamentally disagree with it.
Yeah, I said I fundamentally disagree with this, and I will present my views clearly. Yeah.
Can I add a question to that? To what extent do you think Sharia can be implemented in the West at the moment, within the current situation, where there is no Islamic rule, but can elements be implemented, in which family law perhaps? And what would ideally be your situation here in the West?
This is a good question, an intellectual discussion.
Thank
See,
you.
what I... Thank you. Okay. See, Muslims have certain needs. And now there is a philosophical debate. When you deal with two different people, how do you deal with them? Based on their needs? Is this justice, or how based on what you qualify as their needs? For example, if a person, I hope that the philosophical debate is clear. If a person says, if you offer two people tea with sugar, but you are being equal to them both. But a person who has diabetes, he said, no, this is harmful for me. My need is different. So for you to be just, you have to give him according to his needs, provided that his needs will not cause disturb for the rest of the people. So we as Muslims have certain needs. For example, one of our needs is halal meat. Okay? And halal meat, by the way, is part of Sharia. Do you agree with me, Fuad, or not?
Tofik.
Tawfiq, sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay? Do you agree with that halal meat is part of Sharia?
Yeah, I agree that, well, I choose to eat halal meat.
Okay, excellent. So
But
you
I
are...
accept another Muslim to choose to eat something else.
Okay, so you are following Sharia in certain aspects, which means that there are...
You are a very clever man. You are very clever.
Thank you for your compliment.
I'm
So there are elements of Sharia that are already implemented in the West, such as halal meat, such as mosques, such as other things. So some of our needs as Muslims, and in particular for Muslim women, is to have bodies that are responsible for certain matrimonial issues. For example, if they were abandoned by their husbands for a long time, they need an Islamic body to dissolve their marriage. This, we are calling for this kind of needs to be incorporated within the British judicial system, within the European judicial system, within any system, in order to fulfill those needs for those devastated women.
Yeah, I get your point about the needs, but I'm sure that a lot of women in Western Europe would say we need to be treated equal on all aspects of the law. That's a deep need for a lot of Western women. Yes, it's a right. We call that a right, a human right. And so we will not allow anybody to implement anything which infringes on that equal right principle, because we need that. So it's in opposition to each other. It's incompatible. Would you agree?
This is exactly what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Equal rights, what does it mean? It means give each person the basic of his needs, his basic needs. Yeah. So if Muslim women are requesting, those things, those things, should we be discriminatory against them and say, no, you are not allowed to have them?
I entirely get your point. But if other women say we need
it's not voluntary
to be treated equal in every respect in our state, then they are incompatible with your ideas about implementing.
I haven't said that I will force my opinions on them.
No, but you
this is what I'm saying.
You underestimate your power. When a woman, a Muslim woman, even I myself, I'm sitting listening here to you, I think this man has studied, he must be right. So without you forcing me...
you believe...
No, we do. No, it's something that plays in your mind that you want to, without you forcing someone to do something, you have a lot of influence on people that are still searching for their way with Islam. Do you understand that?
Not me.
Do you understand that people that are listening to you are maybe scared to do something other than what you are saying? Not because they are afraid of you, but because they want to be a good Muslim according to the scholar.
Yeah, let them read the Quran and check whether I'm saying right or wrong. And I call everyone to read Quran.
Mr. Bessems?
Yeah.
Okay?
Mr. Bessems?
If I am intimidating them, let them check against the Quran.
Okay, Mr. Bessems?
The question that you found such a wonderful question was, before the cups of tea, was how much of that would you want to implement right now in the West? I mean, you name one example that you know is going to be...
The Muslim personal law. elements of the Muslim personal law
Yes.
to be incorporated.
Yes,
Not-
because
yeah.
you name one example that might be a little bit more popular, but there's also, for instance, the aspects where women get less of the inheritance, where it's difficult for women to get a divorce from their husband, harder than the other way around. Are those also elements you want to implement? And do your ambitions go beyond family law?
No, I don't want them to be forced. I want to provide those facilities for those people who believe that this is according to their conviction and according to their belief. I think this is a fair request.
And how much should be facilitated? Beyond family law? Or?
At the moment, I can't say anything beyond family law. Okay, it depends on people's needs.
At the moment,
okay.
he said at the moment. Later
Yeah.
on, maybe more.
So are you?
Yeah, maybe yes, maybe no,
People-
based on the needs of the people.
Some people in parliament, I don't want to name like the party again, but think that Muslims like yourself are slowly colonizing the West. So they are pretending to be nice. They also tell that to me, pretending to be nice, pretending to be intellectual, but secretly they are trying to take over.
Are you that, sorry, I'm not offending you, are you that silly to be brainwashed?
No,
and to
I don't believe
So-
that. But you
so
said,
if-
you just said in answer to him about what elements of Sharia you want to implement.
So, Mr.
that-
Dibi, ask your question. Make it a bit more
Are
clear.
are you slowly, step by step, trying to implement Sharia in what you do as a scholar?
Yeah, I will leave it to the people, okay? If the people requested it, then it is up
So
to them.
if it goes slowly, if the people request slowly to get more Sharia, you would agree with it, of course.
I have nothing at that moment.
course.
I have nothing to agree or disagree. This is what they are requesting.
Yeah.
But
Would-
you're
would-
not,
would
sorry,
you-
no,
would you
but you're not just waiting for requests.
Yeah.
This is what you're promoting.
This
I mean,
is
and it-
this is I promoting.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is I promoting within those devoted Muslims because they are requesting for that. This is one thing.
Yeah.
I'll be even more. I believe that Islam provides solutions for our problems. So I am promoting those solutions for the whole humanity. What's
Exactly.
wrong
So
with that?
So at the moment, just family law, and if there's an opportunity to implement more of Sharia law, that's what you
This
would
is what I
promote.
said. It depends on people. If they
you're-
are
you-
convinced.
And
Yeah.
you're advocating that. That's why you're here in Holland as well. That's why you are at the conference. You're advocating it as well because you believe in it.
I am advocating the light that I am living
Yes,
in to
exactly.
everyone, so everyone
Yeah.
shares with me that light.
Yeah.
I'll give you another example.
You're being generous about the light of truth of Islam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
No, that's, but just to be clear.
Yeah. I said to I say to everyone, read the Quran and see whether you will get light or not. But read it with an open heart to see whether there is light in it or not.
I'm drawing
Why
to-
people are rejecting
close.
this?
because some people have deeply rooted other beliefs than you do. That's, I think, why people are rejecting
If
it.
they are confident about their belief, yeah, then reading Quran should not shake them.
No.
If they are confident about what they believe.
No, most probably not.
Critical students.
I'm drawing to a close. I want to thank the audience. I want to thank the press around here. I want to especially thank you three behind the table. I think we had a very interesting debate. I want to thank you for being here. This was not easy for you because there was a lot of questions to you, and you don't. At least I think you don't have all the answers to it. I think we had a very interesting evening because we saw that we deeply disagree about things. I think we heard a lot of things where a lot of people would deeply disagree with each other. You just said, frankly, that yes, we do fundamentally disagree on certain
number of
things. I think that is interesting as such. I think I need to thank you all three very, very much for making it able to talk to each other in this way.
And this is the way forward.
I'm not sure whether I'm sure that it's the way forward to talk to each other. I am personally very sure that I disagree with a lot of things you said. The stoning thing, I can't get my head around.
I appreciate this. And just to finalize, I appreciate that many non-Muslims might not understand and maybe might not appreciate many things that Islam says.
Muslims and non-Muslims. There are also Muslims.
And there are some Muslims as well. I appreciate this, and that's why I call everyone to read Quran and to see where we are coming from. This is one thing.
I just understood that Quran is coming from the Christian scripts and Farsi scripts and that sort of thing, but maybe you probably won't agree with that, but that's what I just read in a new book.
No, that is not the case. And the other thing, is, I would like to ask one question.
Sure.
Yeah?
Sure.
Which is, can anyone, or why don't we think why Islam is the fastest growing religion despite the media negativity about it? Why is it?
If you ask me, I would give you an answer to that. Sure.
Okay.
I think it's because it's waging war on every fringe of Islam.
If people are accepting Islam, out of their own choices, even in Western countries, even in Israel itself. Women are the most people to accept Islam in Britain, in many Western countries. If Islam was wrong, if Islam is giving the wrong answer, why is it the fact that Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world, despite the negative media picture that it portrayed about it?
Do you want to give an answer to that question, or
well,
because I want to close now? But
no, I just wanted to say that ultimately it's so reassuring that it's not going to be about who's a Muslim and who's not. Ultimately, it's going to be about the fact that people who want individual liberty, Muslims and non-Muslims, is going to be such, it's such a strong force, and we shouldn't be worried about, who's Muslim and who's not. In the end, people will decide for themselves.
Yeah, of course.
Not listen to you per se.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I would like just apart from this, I would like to thank Holland for hosting me. I really appreciate the Dutch society, irrespective of our differences. Please put this in media. I really no, because I'm worried about cut and paste. Yeah, this is what, and that's why I would like to say that if I was misrepresented in media, or I was called radical clerk or extreme clerk, then I would like to seek a legal advice regarding this, because this for me is blasphemy. So I would like to thank really Holland for its hospitality, the Dutch people for their hospitality, and despite our differences, thank you very much. Thanks for everyone.